But in the same sense, like, man, I don't know.
It was really cool too, because out of that I looked, there was an N64 Ocarina of Time with the manual, with the strategy. Yeah, it was a pretty good score. I mean, everything we got in that whole lot for cheap. It was cheap.
I know with like your Facebook now, you have that Facebook marketplace, you know, you just know that, like, when you go to a garage sale, they don't know. They're just getting rid of stuff like, we'll sell you the whole thing for like $10. Really? You know what I mean? And then you sit there and buy it. Now, like, they know there's a market out there.
Do you get a lot of people coming in and just trying to dump their collection on you and expecting more than what you were willing to give them for?
Actually, a lot of times we end up giving them more than what they expected.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Because we just go out buy a price guide. So a lot of times they'll end up getting more than what they thought. So
that's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
it's wild. It's wild. I haven't seen any really big collections coming in a while. I don't know if the supply is drying up. I imagine it is at some point in time.
Imagine how many like stuff is just gone.
Well, and that's very true. So I went and visited my brother out in San Antonio, and I said, hey, I want to go check out all the vintage retro game stores around the area. And there was a store that had probably like 3 or 4 stores around the area, and everyone I went to, it was the same thing. It was like, man, is all the good stuff just dried up now? Because there was nothing there. Just a bunch of common stuff that nobody wanted, a lot of sports titles, a lot of Sports Genesis titles, but none of the good stuff. You didn't see like even like a case that had any of the good stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of lame. And the only place I did go to was kind of like, he had like a ton of stuff, but you could just tell like a lot of his stuff was getting damaged by the light.
Oh yeah.
So the boxes were getting damaged, and his prices were pretty high. So I was like, pretty nice to look at, but I'm gonna have to pass on some of the stuff.
Yeah. It's gotta be. I mean, like, I can remember going to Fort Wayne McMahon's. There's a place called McMahon's. I don't know if you ever remember that.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. So there was, and actually, like down the street from McMahon's, there was a shop that was called Cartridge Fixers. It was like something like that where you could take the cartridge in there, they'd fix it for you and do whatever. I remember that, but like I can remember the collection you had. It was just anything you could think of was there. You know, Bible mentions, everything was there. Everything was there. But then you go, like you said, you go to these other stores. It's like, man, this isn't really anything. So it's like at the time, it's like I had a collection. So it's like, I'm not disappointed. But now that I'm gonna get back into collecting it, I'm like, oh man, I gotta hurry up because I don't know how much of this stuff's gonna last. You know, so I don't know where it's gonna end, because it's gonna end at some point.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, and that's why we're kind of focusing on arcade and stuff like that, because we see the game sales and things like that decline. We also have some competition in town as well. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess you just gotta evolve a little bit with it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. So.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, like I said, with the collecting thing, me dipping my fingers into the collecting thing, you already been into it, so you kind of get a feel of what you're looking for and how to look for it, you know. So now I'm gonna take that lead and try to get into that and do that stuff. So, and what's nice about me is like if I go to a different city, because like there's a lot of times I'll get booked for a show and I'll go to a different city or something, like I'm gonna start going to see these other places and start getting stuff that I've been looking for. So it's like getting into it. I'm excited to do it, but in the same sense, I'm kind of upset with myself because I had most of the stuff that I need to go re-get. You know, that's what kind of sucks. You know, I recommend anybody that's got a collection, don't get rid of it. Box it up, store it, put it somewhere. Don't get rid of it.
That's what happens to me every time I see a complete in box Battletoads. I'm like, I had that. I don't want to spend 120, $100 on it. Pass. Thank you.
So what's your prime thing in your own personal collection? What's the thing is like that's it? This is the end all and be all.
Oh my gosh! I've got a rod set up with all sorts of extra attachments and stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
I've got a bunch of in-box Atari 5200 stuff. I've got
any size.
I'm sorry. That's awesome.
Coleco television. I mean, I myself started off on Atari, and then we ended up we got a Coleco oddly enough. The Coleco actually, I thought the Coleco blew the Atari away as far as graphics and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've got a lot of the old stuff. So
like you like Atari, then Atari's your thing.
That's what I started out on. I mean, I like Nintendo more than Atari because just the graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about on the way of like the leap from Atari to Nintendo was
Yeah.
so crazy.
Oh, it was huge.
Well, the problem with Atari is they had like their 7800. They had that like years prior, and they shelved it because the video game crashed because everyone was producing games and they were just crap.
Yeah.
So no one bought games, and there was a big crash. And until Nintendo came out a couple of years later, that's when Atari said, "Oh, well, we're going to release a system that's already behind."
That's
so
what I think
what."
the game.
Yeah, the 7800 was like, I guess, sort of like a Nintendo competitor, but
Was it really?
I had
competitive?
never-
for the original. But
Yeah.
I mean, they had maxed out what they could do on the 7800, and actually, if you look at it, the 7800, there was a lot of arcade games that were on the 7800,
Yeah.
and they looked pretty good. They looked all right. I mean, I think the arcade games, there were just more arcade type games on the 7800.
Like Galaga and LP and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
Simple controls.
So
Yeah.
back to the 5200.
Yeah, 52. An
Like,
oddball system.
so the 5200 was the first system my dad had at the house.
Really?
And we had Dig Dug, and I've talked about this already, Dig Dug, Pac-Man, Galaxian, Cubert, Centipede, football, I forget what else we had, but we had a lot of games for it, and I loved it. So it's always held a special place in my heart. Do you happen to have those 5200 games here?
Not here. No, they're at the house.
Oh, man. I did just to see it. Like, like for me, that's nostalgia. It's cool.
We've got some 5200 games here.
I saw it,
Yeah,
but it was just,
yeah.
it was just something about that system. I've always wanted to have one, complete box. I've saw, but I mean, you find them, they're all just tattered up.
Well, the gentleman I bought them from, he had them under, I guess he had them under his bed for who knows how long, or in storage, and they were in a tote, all sealed and everything. But this guy, he took like a razor blade and carefully opened the top.
Oh, wow.
And then he took the game out, played it, put it back in the thing, closed it, and put it. He had the receipts for each game with the game, and it was just crazy. He said at one point, odd lots or big lots, whatever, was they had them on clearance, and they were selling them for like $2 or $3. And he said he went out there and he bought every single one that they had. Well, I mean, I think he bought at least one of all the ones.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was wild.
The cool thing about, well, I guess not cool, but I guess the different thing about that system is the controller was long and it had a dial pad like a phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you would put these plastic overlays over that dial pad, and it would have different things that you would control it
Yeah.
with. So it would have like start select or this button or that button.
Yeah.
And it would correspond to help the game.
Yep.
But the controllers were garbage. They
Yeah,
would break
they're
so easily.
Not the best,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah.
That's
Dang, so 52. See, I
I
was the Odyssey.
love
That's
it.
the ones that I started with was the
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
I had
Yeah.
a friend with an Odyssey that had the keyboard built in, right?
No,
Is that
it
the
was
one?
just it wasn't the keyboard. No, it was just the paddle and one button. That's
Okay.
all we had. That's what my dad had. I don't know if
Yeah.
he rigged it with that, but that's what he had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
the
Odyssey, I remember
Odyssey.
that.
There was an Odyssey and Odyssey 2 or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
there was
Odyssey.
a couple different models.
Like I said, I didn't get to play it. I just watched him play it. Like he'd be drunk, and I was like, man, maybe he's gonna pass out. You know, you get to that point where he's passing out. You know, hey, get off there. And he'd go. It's like he never got to play it. And then I remember when they sold it. My cousin of ours showed up, and we had it. Like my dad had it in this box, and I think my mom was mad or something. She was like, "You want to buy it?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'll buy it. How much?" She's like, "Give me $10." I remember I seen it go. I had to hope it loaded in the car for $10. I never got to play the thing. You know, there I am loading this thing, and she's like, I remember seeing the $10 getting exchanged, and my mom like, "You kidding me?" My dad's gonna be so mad.
Oh my gosh.
Because I can imagine how much you spent. Because back then, I mean, I'm sure that stuff was expensive.
Games were, if I remember right, they were in like the $40 range or something like that. Even back in the 80s, 40. I don't know if they went up to 50. I can't remember.
See, I remember buying them games for the Odyssey at a furniture store. That's the only reason we'd go with this furniture store.
Well, that's
Because
wild.
the guy had furniture and then a wall of games, and we'd go in there. My dad would go in there all the time. I was always thinking, what are we buying furniture for? You know, because I remember we would sit in the car, and my dad would like, I'll be right back. You know, we'd be sitting like, man, we're gonna get another couch or something, or you know, you're thinking like that, and then he'd come back with the bag, and then we'd leave, and then he'd
Windows
have
up,
yeah,
1980s.
oh yeah, dude, yeah. This is back with no Wi-Fi or nothing, like just Don't talk to nobody. Don't see no. Just sit in the car. You're just sitting there sweating. No drinks. You never stopped at a car to get something to drink. That never happened. So you're sitting in there. He'd get his game or whatever, and then we'd leave and go home. It's like then you'd find out he'd pop it in. It's like, oh, you got a game. Remember the first time he took me there? I remember seeing Superman. I seen a Superman card. I was like, oh, I want that. And I kept on saying, I want to get that. But I never got it, obviously, because I never played the Odyssey. So when the Nintendo came out, that's when it was like, that was it. I finally got my hands on one. It was crazy. It was awesome. But yeah, the Odyssey. I remember Gunsmoke. There was Gunsmoke. There was a football game for that. He had just so many different games, dude. It was, and now I'm thinking about it, the games kind of suck. But I remember just
were what
watching.
they were
Yeah,
back then. It was fun for the time.
Yeah.
Fun for the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because in any other video games, you have to go to an arcade to play. Pretty much. So anytime you could bring something home, I mean, you almost thought you were getting away with something. It was like you were saving a quarter every time you played this game at home. You know what I'm saying? So.
Dude, I'm talking, it was brutal, dude.
Yeah.
My dad would take me to arcades. Like, I remember the Lima Mall had a nice arcade.
Oh yeah.
I remember that. And my dad would go there, my mom and dad would go there and window shop and stuff, and go shopping or do whatever. And he'd be like, go ahead and go to the arcade. But they wouldn't give me no money. So there I was, dude, walking around this arcade, watching people just pump quarters, and, well, you in line, I'm like, man, wish, go ahead. It was so brutal. It was so brutal, man.
It was almost just as fun to well, no, I can't. It was way more fun to play. But
I bet it was.
But you're right. Yeah, watching people play was definitely a great way to kill time.
Absolutely.
So,
I love the arcade.
Oh, yeah.
I remember they had well, here in Lima at the old Kmart, they had an arcade in the corner of the store. I remember watching my dad playing Center Beach.
That was amazing stuff, dude. I
Yeah,
I remember when Mortal Kombat came out.
Oh,
The line behind Mortal
There was
Kombat.
lines for Mortal Kombat.
I
When
remember
it first
those.
came out. Oh, my
That was the
word.
first guide I ever bought, was a piece of paper with all the fatalities.
Oh, really?
Yeah, $20 lunch. I was like, here's my lunch money. Yeah, it was a piece of paper, like somebody just typed it out on a typewriter.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's like typewriter, A, B,
Oh,
fuck, it's like everything was on the
You're like,
typewriter.
now, hold on.
And they didn't even have the arrows or nothing. It was U for up, D for down. It was like just that, and it was like Liu Kang, then up, down, forward, high kick. It was all HK. It was so weird, dude. But I bought $20. I felt, dude, I was holding that thing like, oh, I can't rip this.
Yeah.
I remember going to the arcade and I'm watching everybody play. Yeah, I'm gonna show this guy.
Yeah. then you break out the fatality. People freak out.
Yeah, I was like, what? $20, dude. That's $20 I spent in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, dude, it was awesome, dude.
You know what? I wish they would have had. I wish they would have had some type of document. Something that just showed how it was back then. People lining up.
Oh, dude,
these
it's
arcades.
nuts, man.
There are like a few like documentaries that talk about like games, but you're right. I wish there was someone that would actually do it right.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
be a fly on the wall or something. And back in the '90s and stuff like that, '80s, '90s in the arcade. Man,
And I remember when it got released for like the systems, it came out for Genesis.
Mortal
it came out-
Monday.
Yeah,
Mortal
dude. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, I remember it got released. And I remember a buddy of ours down the street got it for the Super Nintendo, but they were pretty religious and they were like, no blood code. So he had to put the blood code in.
Yeah.
And I remember the mom and dad went to like Wednesday service or something. I don't know where they went, but we're like, dude, you want the blood code? And we put it in there. She came in. Oh, that was the first time I ever heard her cuss in my life.
Uh-oh.
I was like, oh, shoot. And it's like, the blood came out. She's like, oh, my, you said there was no blood in this. And he's just looking at me like, dude, I gotta go.
Uh-oh.
Like, this is your dude. I don't think he was ever able to play that game anymore,
Oh
man.
my God.
We had it for Genesis, so we had
Genesis.
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Genesis.
Oh, yeah. That's just crazy that they had to put a blood code in that, I still remember it. ABBA. Is ABBA Upstart? Does that sound right? It was something like that. It was like ABBA, something like that was a blood code, dude. Yeah.
It was Genesis. We had it.
Yeah, you already had blood.
Like, yeah, you and your codes. Get out of here. You and your codes. Yeah, you had to put it in every single time. Like, you do it right at the title screen. And then once you did it, it was like, it would say something like fatality or you're excellent or something like that. It would say something crazy like at the beginning, and then you knew it. Like, you felt that, like, you just got the chills.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I got it. Got it going on.
Yeah.
But no, man, arcades, man, it's just like, you don't see that. You don't see them lines of them games. And I don't think they're even making the game that can push somebody to do that.
No. I mean, there's a few. I've been looking just to try and see what's available, and there's a few. I think there's a 4-player Turtles game. They tried to reintroduce that.
Same gameplay, same everything, just revamped or what?
This is like some HD turtle. It's weird. It's really weird.
Well, Arcade One-Up will have one.
Yeah, they're gonna do the 4-player version. I think that'll be one of their first 4-player cabinets. So.
Really?
I've got a space
That
for
might
it in the
be cool.
basement.
You really got to measure.
Might
Always
be
have the
cool.
tape measuring.
Yeah, I've got the space.
I heard some people were changing out the controls and stuff like that. But, I mean, for what it is, it's a neat little system.
Yeah.
Neat little system.
I've got Street Fighter. It's the only cabinet I have.
Yeah. You know what I like? The Simpsons 4-player game. That was awesome. I remember the X-Men 4-player game. It was sweet. I love that one. That one ate up a lot of my quarters. Simpsons ate up a lot of my quarters.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. And I remember when NFL Blitz came out. That ate up a lot of my quarters too. NFL Blitz. NBA Jam.
Oh, I love
that
it.
ate up a lot of
NBA
my
Jam was
quarters.
good.
That was a big
I used to love
game.
NBA Jam on the Genesis.
Yeah, that was good. Wasn't Bill Clinton on that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
Bill
can do Bill
Clinton.
Clinton on there.
That was before Monica Lewinsky.
Big head nod. Yeah.
He's on fire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was an awesome game. But hey, well, thanks for letting us interview and just talk some game and stuff, man. I
Glad you
appreciate
stopped by.
that. This guy wants to see your collection.
Okay.
This guy's got to see it sometime. He's like, I got to see it.
Yeah, we might be able to arrange a private tour. Or something
All right,
like
that's
that.
cool. Man. I'm not saying we're gonna bring extra people to knock you out to take it, but I'm just saying.
One of my, I love Atari. Well, I just love Atari because that's what I grew up. That was my first thing, first love. So my actual email address has Atari in it.
No, does it?
Yeah, the word Atari. So
Well, you got to exchange info because if this guy's ever gonna get rid of it, you know who to call. It ain't the Ghostbusters. It's this guy. But thanks, Will. You got an awesome shop, man. Thanks for letting us come in here. All this information, you want to give out any information that maybe they can follow you guys on?
The best way to find anything out about us is on Facebook. It's just Cartridge Gaming on Facebook. We post a lot of the stuff that we get in. If we ever get a new machine in the arcade, if we ever get somebody brings in a nice Nintendo lot or pretty much anything good, we'll take a picture of it and post it on there. And also, if you see anything on Facebook that you want, just send me a message. We can hold stuff for you.
they respond very quickly too. So I can attest to that. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
awesome. So there you go. Look up his information. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview we got, and I appreciate you letting us come in.
Awesome.
And record, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.